evening, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to Black News Tonight. I'm Shannon LaNier, in for Mark Lamont Hill. Well, as you heard, singer R. Kelly has been found guilty in his federal sex trafficking trial. Now, Kelly was found guilty on all 9 counts, including racketeering. And he was also convicted of criminal counts accusing him of violating the Mann Act, which makes it illegal to take anyone across state lines for any immoral purpose. His godson, D'Angelo Brister, expressed his disappointment shortly after the verdict was announced.
Very shocked and surprised that the government has came about with these charges, and I'm very shocked that about these accusers' stories being brought out to the light, and they finding him guilty of it off of he say, she say, when there's a whole lot of holes in each and every last one of their stories.
All right, well, joining me now to understand the broader social context of this verdict is Dr. Brittney Cooper. She is an associate professor of women's and gender studies as well as Africana studies at Rutgers University. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, there is so much to unpack with this case, so let's just start with going off that soundbite we just heard from R. Kelly's godson. Seems to be this conspiracy theory believed by some of his family members, of course him, that Kelly was set up and everyone is lying about this case. So what do you think about that?
I mean, as the old Black proverb goes, denial is not just a river in Africa. And so there are a whole lot of folks who believe that, or who need to believe this fiction, who need to tell this story because they want to continue to step in the name of love. They want to continue to bump and grind, and they don't want to feel any type of way about it. But the evidence is overwhelming here. And at some point, we're going to have to decide. As a community, do we care about Black women and girls? Do we believe Black women and girls when they have been violated? And let me say this too, Shannon. I'm 40. Aaliyah, we just, marked the anniversary of Aaliyah's passing in August. Aaliyah is older than me. So R. Kelly has literally been abusing young girls since I was a girl. Since his first album, that's 30 years of abuse that we know about in the public sphere. This was his moment of reckoning. It should have happened much earlier. And one of the things we can also think about as a community is that perhaps if we had addressed it when he was doing it to Aaliyah in the 1990s, then we wouldn't have all of these new victims who he's done this to in the last decade, in the last 5 years. That's on us as a community, and I'm glad today that those victims hopefully feel like they got some semblance of justice.
Yeah, and you talk about the injustice here. We're talking about over 40 witnesses, dozens of accusers in this case, and still we have these conspiracy theories. So I guess what do these types of conspiracies perpetuate, especially if they continue to live on as urban legends?
So, look, I think as a community that we've got to hold this tension, right? That on the one hand, having a healthy skepticism of the legal system is important because we're talking about the same legal system that couldn't convict Trayvon Martin's killer, right? We're talking about the same legal system that couldn't convict Michael Brown's killer. And so I know that there are many in our community who say, well, when it's a brother, then they can always do this, right? So you don't have to believe that the legal system is actually on the side of justice for Black people to understand that there are, as you said, 40 accusers, so many women and girls across decades who have presented compelling testimony that R. Kelly was a predator, that he was the kind of predator that we warn our children against, that we say, if you see that man coming, don't send your children to his house, don't let your children be alone with him. And he abused women, he humiliated them, he violated them in every possible way that he could. And so we do have a problem in our community with fake news, but we also have a problem in our community with because of the trauma that Black men have experienced at the hands of the legal system. We are primed as a community to believe the best about Black men. And that's important. That's an important form of resistance. But we got to have a line somewhere. And when you have dozens of Black women and girls saying he is not safe, we can't decide that R. Kelly's music is more important than the actual lives, protection, and safety of real women and girls who live in our communities and are asking us to look out for them. They have to matter more. They just do.
Well, then you make a great point. Why is it that Black women are less likely to be believed when they're coming forward with these type of abuse cases?
Look, we don't believe black people in our broader context, and we certainly don't believe black women. There's and here's the thing, that's a way that we've internalized the worst lies that white supremacy told us about
Mm.
black women. That, one of the lies of slavery was that black girls were unrapeable, that black women were unrapeable, that we always wanted it, that we were hot in the pants, lascivious, and down for it. And so as a community, we actually have a responsibility to tell the truth and to say that black girls are, quite frankly, more likely to be victims of sexual violence than other girls. That almost half of black girls before the age of 18 report some form of coercive sexual contact or sexual violence. There was a wonderful piece out today from Dr. Treva Lindsay, who's a professor at Ohio State, detailing that. And I would encourage people to go and read her work. And so she shows us and tells us this is a rampant problem in our community. But we have come to believe that when it comes to black men, all of a sudden we don't trust black women. We don't believe black women. But who else rides for brothers more than black women? So this brother had to be egregious for sisters to stand up and say, hey, he is not safe. And when you think about the sisters in your life, the women in your life, black women are people of integrity. And that doesn't mean that every one of us is trustworthy, but in the main, we are. And so we can't believe the lies that white supremacy has told us about how black girls are invulnerable and that we don't get violated. And last thing, the reason we don't want to believe it is because we don't want to believe the lies about black men being sexual predators. R. Kelly was convicted of violating the Mann Act. And when that act was passed in the early 20th century, the first thing they did was to come after the fighter, Jack Johnson, the boxer, Jack Johnson, and say that he, was trafficking white women because he was taken up with a white girl. So that law has been used in our community specifically to abuse black men and to say they're hypersexual. But what we have here is black women and girls who got on the stand and said that R. Kelly did these things. They provided video evidence, their personal testimony. The folks who helped him to facilitate these crimes against these women said that he did it. So the preponderance of the evidence is overwhelming here. And we can't continue to use racism as an excuse to let black men be let off the hook for hurting women in our communities. That's not a respect to our ancestors. That's not a way to fight against the injustices that white supremacy has done to us. Either we're going to all get free together or none of us is going to get free.
Okay, so moving forward, what would be the impact of this verdict? I mean, in regards to a broader context about powerful men mostly having impunity and entitlement, and how we engage in this discussion around sexual abuse.
Absolutely. So we get to decide now how we're going to talk about this. Are we going to continue to call black girls fast? Are we going to continue to say, well, she was asking for it or she wanted it? Or are we going to take this as an invitation to do better? Again, one of the things we got to reckon with this community is that we allowed R. Kelly to exist in our community. We saw those tapes in the early 2000s, and we know that even though he kind of got away with it, not all of us knew, just like in Barbershop when, said the entertainer said OJ did it, right? We knew R. Kelly did it. And so we got to ask ourselves why we were okay with this guy continuing to do this. And so I do think that going forward, what we have to have is a commitment to believing victims. And let's not forget, we had a whole Me Too movement in this country. And when Tarana Burke started saying Me Too, she was talking about little black girls who had been victims of sexual violence. It became a movement that largely talked about what white women were experiencing it. But the black woman who invented it was saying, there is something going on in our communities that we have to attend to. And I'm saying the writing's on the wall. Are we going to start listening? Or are we going to keep sweeping this under the rug and raising another generation of black girls violated and traumatized in our communities? There is so much that we don't have power over that happens to us, but this is a thing that we can change if we have the political will to do so.
Okay, so speaking of that movement, do you think we would be where we are today if it wasn't for the Me Too movement? Will we still have this guilty verdict?
Absolutely not. This is the result of organizing by black women like Dream Hampton, black women like Tarana Burke, the black women who have been raising concerns about R. Kelly, the black women who came forward, like the singer Sparkle, who talked about that this was her niece in the tape in the early 2000s. So this is black women coming together. Dream Hampton told me many years, a couple of years ago, I interviewed her right as the Surviving R. Kelly doc came out, and she said to me, this is our generation's responsibility responsibility to address this, right? Our parents' generation needed to address the Miles Davises of the world and these other guys that were, problematic. But R. Kelly was our generation's problem. And, she's specifically talking about Gen X. And she's like, we let him abuse girls your age forever and ever. And so she took it upon herself together to build on the ferment of this movement and to say that we were going to address this. And she has won today. And his victims who were so courageous to stand up to him and to say what he did to them, this, I hope, feels like a victory and like a critical move on the path to healing for them. And now as a community, we got to commit that we will not come past this way again, that we will not do this way again, and that we will not continue to let the racism and the lynchings of Black men keep us from having a real honest conversation about the fact that we know it's some problematic stuff that's happening in our community. That doesn't make us bad or terrible. What makes us bad and terrible is a refusal to address it.
Well, Dr. Brittney Cooper, hopefully our community will continue to address issues like this and hold those responsible accountable. Thank you so much for your time this evening. And be sure to join the conversation. We want to hear from you. So go ahead, head over to our BNC Instagram and Twitter pages and let us know how you feel about this situation and the broader picture we just unpacked. Also, visit our website, bnc.tv, and subscribe to our YouTube page. And also check out clips there on our YouTube page from all the shows you may have missed.